All right, that's another GCC weekly video cast of the Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm Dr. Drew Henderson. We got Dr. Steve Ranicki joining us today from Savannah, Georgia. How you doing, Steve?
Doing great, Drew.
It's
Drew,
it's a beautiful.
are you in need of police support? Are you being held in someone's basement there?
I need police support. That's for sure. I need somebody to direct the traffic outside because this morning it was blowing up. You know what I mean? I'm just like, dang. And then somebody wants to talk. Oh, we don't have time. We're doing like good work. We can't come down like in Nehemiah. We're doing good work. We cannot come down. We are detecting, correcting subluxations. It's a great thing. You know, how you doing for real?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Yeah. Practice is good.
That's
Life's good.
that's good. And you're pretty close to downtown Savannah, right?
Yeah, probably about 15 or 20 minutes away, depending on the time of day.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful place, man. Beautiful place. It's so like what's your typical day look like in your office?
I have an associate doctor that does most of the adjusting. So we all show up at 7:30, and he and my case manager start prepping for the report of findings that she's got to do that day. And then 7:45, 7:50, something like that, he's out there adjusting wide open. I'm doing all the reevaluations in the practice, and we just go nonstop until noon, and then again from 2 until 6, running wide
That's
open.
awesome. That's awesome. That's a beautiful life. You know, it's a great thing, and it's so like we say a lot of students. You know, it's so stress free when you really think about it. You know, we show up, we do our thing, take care of people, and do it again the next day. You know, it's beautiful. We were talking earlier about some concerns you have. Why don't you share some of those?
Yeah. So there seems to be a bit of a growing trend for schools and colleges that are not chiropractic colleges to start adding a chiropractic program in. And of course, not very many of them, if any of them, are adding in anything remotely close to what chiropractic colleges have historically taught. So there's an example that I talk about fairly often where I had a young lady come interview in my office for an associate position, and she had graduated from the chiropractic program at Bayouville, which I had never heard of before then, somewhere up in the New York area. And I had her adjust me, and then I watched her adjust one of my staff members. And she did this move that we've all seen at one time or another, where you put one hand on the shoulder, you put the other hand on the occiput, and you kind of lever and scissor like that to create some traction in there, and a whole bunch of stuff cracks and pops. And before she went to the next thing, I said, whoa, hold on, pause right there for a minute. What vertebra did you just adjust? And she stops and she thinks about it for a moment, which already got a little bit of concern about the fact that she didn't know which one right off the bat. But then she says, well, probably T1 or maybe T2. Meanwhile, I heard like 6 cavitations. And so I asked her, I'm like, do you see the problem with that? Like, you're adjusting, but you don't have any idea which vertebrae you're moving. And she's like, well, she had told me already, like, she's a really, really good adjuster. And what I figured out by that is what she meant was that she could just crack and pop a lot of stuff. So then a little further on in the process, I'm asking her what techniques she studied in chiropractic school. And she said full spine. And I said, well, yeah, but which full spine technique? She had no idea what I was talking about. And I said, well, like diversified, Gonstead, Thompson. She'd never heard any of those words. Didn't have any idea what.
Oh wow! Didn't even hear them.
Nope. Had no clue that such a thing as other techniques other than just full spine existed. So it's got me, looking into this situation and what kind of curriculum they're being taught. And there's a lot of the real fundamental key principles of chiropractic that are just not only not being shared with them, but sometimes being outright ridiculed. So the latest one of these schools, and I think we're up to 5 of them now. So I believe we've got the Duyuville, we've got University of Bridgeport, Connecticut, which has been around obviously for a long time. Universidad Central de Carib, which is in Puerto Rico. And again, they offer lots of different degrees, not just chiropractic. And now there's a Kaiser University down in Florida. So I think maybe that's just 4 of them that
Yeah.
Not chiropractic colleges, but have added a chiropractic program in, and at least for the Kaiser one, they're very, very aggressively working against the ideas of subluxation and even just adjustment and certainly innate intelligence. They've put out publications saying they think that those are just dogmatic principles and that they don't belong in the profession at all anymore.
Yep.
And my 2 cents is that I think the idea of subluxation and adjustment are important, but if you take innate intelligence away, I think you've really destroyed the profession.
Yeah, and what we do, and what we do is much more than just some mechanical movement to get a cavitation that offers a relief of symptoms short term if it's not so serious. But there's a life inside of us that heals us, and if that's interfered with, that person is not going to function the way they were designed to function. It's neck pain gets better, yes. Back pain gets better, yes. Asthma goes away, yes. ADHD gets better, yes. Like you name it. Somebody mouth eating alopecia, we can make them look like a collie dog because our nervous system facilitates, modulates every single function of the body, and it's more than just racking and cracking. We're removing interference to the expression of life.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids now don't realize that.
Of course, yeah. And I find it so interesting that when you read medical research, they will talk all the time about the wisdom of the body, and they'll even use the term the innate intelligence of the body. And somehow it's all great in medical research, but in chiropractic, there's obviously a segment of the profession that really believes that is a problematic concept and term, and that it's unprovable, and therefore it's dogma. And I mean, it's probably pretty self-explanatory. I've not had a single patient that wasn't able to get the simplicity and the beauty of the concept that there is an innate intelligence side of us that is making stuff happen, not just there keeping the body alive, but is actually making things happen, right? So like in Chinese medicine, they talk about qi, but they don't really talk about it as being an intelligence. It's just an energy. It's not choosing what's the best thing for us right now. It's just providing the energy to make life happen, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think that really separates chiropractic from every other healing art is this concept of innate intelligence being not just some force that just works or doesn't, but that has the capacity to say, well, what's the best thing to do right now?
Yeah, and it does that.
Yeah.
It's more than just electricity going through wires in a house where you flip the switch, the light bulb comes on. It's just going to send 110 volts to that outlet. That's what it's going to do. It don't matter what's plugged in. But with the dynamo that's inside us, it's dynamic. It has intelligence behind it. It knows what to do. It can pull resources from here and put those resources over there. And it's huge. Like if I cut my arm now, I'm going to heal up. 2 minutes after I die, if somebody cuts me, I won't, because that life is not there. That life is what controls, coordinates every single thing in the body.
Yeah. So a thing that I've always found to be particularly interesting about innate intelligence is that it also seems to be able to choose which genes to turn on and express and which ones to turn off. So like when I was born with blonde hair, very, very white blonde hair and blue eyes. And now I have brown hair. What's not gray is brown, and brown eyes. So, the model of genetics is that the brown eye gene is dominant. If the brown eye gene is there, that's going to be expressed. But intelligence decided that blue eye was the best gene to express at the beginning, and then later on decided that the brown eye gene was better to express.
Yep.
It's a very intelligent process rather than just, again, like electricity, where it's on or it's off.
Yeah, and it's not, we eat food. It can take what nourishment it can from that food, and we excrete the rest through poop. It don't just take everything. The things that we don't need, it's going to expel. Whether we eat some bad fish, we're going to throw up. Get that bad fish out of us. That intelligence is saying, oh no, this is bad. this tilapia is no good. It's from Captain D's. Get it out. And it does. It's just so much bigger than people realize. And like you were saying, patients, they get it like sometimes better than we do. We'll explain what's going on and what we're doing and what we're not doing. And they're like, I always thought that too. I just didn't have these words. I didn't have the vocabulary to put it together. And then they get our vocabulary. They're just like, this is it. It's innate intelligence. That's what it is. And we know sometimes when people are sick, that innate intelligence is not working like as effective as it should be. We didn't know it was because of a vertebral subluxation. They're way ahead of a lot of chiropractors, just the lay people are.
Right.
So without a doubt, it's a simple concept. Almost all patients get it, but for some reason, there is a segment of our profession that just cannot get their head around it and just cannot accept it. And the dean at Kaiser University is certainly a shining example of that, right? So he's a graduate of CMCC, so we already kind of know what side of the aisle he cut his teeth in, so to speak. But since now becoming the dean at this other school, he's taken a pretty aggressive approach trying to shift the profession more and more into his philosophy and his mindset. And I just have concern that if we don't do something to counteract that, it's going to gain momentum because, I don't know if you ever thought about this, but the way that most people pick a chiropractic school is they typically just go to whichever one is closest to home. Right? Everybody knows which medical school is the best one to go to, or at least has, an opinion. Everybody probably has an idea of which law school is the best one to go to. But if you ask the general public which chiropractic school is the best one to go to, nobody's got an idea. Yeah. So sometimes people go to the one that their field doctor went to, but we're seeing more and more people going to chiropractic school that have never seen a chiropractor and therefore don't have a field doctor. And so they're just picking whichever one's closest to home. And we've obviously seen the influx of people moving to Florida that's happened here in the last few years. And so if these people all say, well, some of them say, I want to become a chiropractor, the likelihood that they're going to pick is either that school or Palmer South, which Palmer South is certainly better, but I don't think it has the same philosophical standards that the original Palmer in Davenport does. I've met a lot of the grads that come out of there, and they don't seem to have very much concept of the philosophy. They do at least have some idea about Gonstead and Thompson, but they don't really have much philosophical orientation. So if this trend continues, the concern I have is that they're just going to gain market share. They're going to gain momentum. And I think we can't afford to do what chiropractors have historically done, which is just to kind of sit back and wait to see what someone else will do about it and hope that it's going to be okay and just keep our nose down and keep plugging away at taking care of patients. We do have to get a little bit more involved about this particular issue, I think. And I know we've said that about many issues in the past, but this is one that I have a little bit more concern about its ability to gain traction.
We do. And I think by and large, a lot of chiropractors think the same way. They just don't know what to do. And I know one thing they can do is join the GCC. Like we're on the front lines fighting for good principled chiropractic. Where we have to detect and correct subluxation. That's what we do. And if you want to get involved and help with that, we would love to have your warm body doing things. But if not, just join. Your membership would help us a lot. We need a little army with us, and it's cheap. It's not very expensive. You can go to the link that's on the screen now, GeorgiaChiropractic.org. It's just we need a lot of hands, and right now we don't have a lot. We rode on the shoulders of giants for so long and rode on their coattails, but now they're getting older in the profession. Some of them's even passing away, and it's on all of us now collectively. So we all can just rise up. I know we can take this profession back, but if something doesn't happen, I don't know what it will look like in 20, 25 years, if that long.
Agreed. So without a doubt, joining the GCC, contributing either your time or at least the money in the dues will allow us to fight that battle and certainly put people in the right places to do that. And we've got people on the board of the GCC that are into the legal side of things, and they like to go to those events and talk to the right people. That's not my forte, but we've got people that do that sort of stuff. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be that if you want to make change that you've got to also contribute that time. You could just simply say, hey, we'll be a member, and that way my membership dues are getting channeled towards those efforts. I do have some other additional strategies that I think maybe could help us in this struggle here as well. So one, and this is certainly a bit of an aggressive approach, but nonetheless, I think it would be terribly effective, is if word got out that getting a job as a chiropractor with a degree from Kaiser or DUville or University of Bridgeport, Connecticut, or one of these non-chiropractic schools was difficult, that if you weren't graduating from an actual chiropractic school, that would probably make it a little bit harder for them to get people to matriculate and become students there. And if their programs are not profitable, then they may ultimately decide to discontinue, or at a minimum, maybe the next school doesn't think, hey, there's a lot of money to be made there, let me do the same thing. So I guess I give some consideration to whether we want to hire those people as associates. But things I'm a little bit more inspired about is that we need to put more emphasis on doing research in the profession on non-musculoskeletal issues. The more we do research on back pain issues, the more that side of the political spectrum just gets fuel. So we need to put more research into all the stuff that we see happening in our practice, but these guys don't want us to be able to say. And one strategy that I would also add to that is, we do case studies in chiropractic a lot. It's a very easy way to do chiropractic research, and a single case study doesn't have a lot of merits. It's the sort of thing that when we get 100 case studies, all looking at the same issue or challenge or problem that respond to chiropractic care, that now there's some weight behind that. But the traditional way that chiropractors do case studies is that it's just a random smattering of whatever happened to present to your office that responded well and that you thought was cool. But if instead we had a bit of a research agenda where we said, during the year 2025, we really want to focus on attention deficit cases, and let's write up as many research or as many case studies as possible on attention deficit. And then in 2026, let's really focus heavy on digestive issues, and we're going to write up as many case studies on digestive issues. Then I think we'd hit that critical mass of where we've got a bunch of case studies that give some real weight and merit to it, rather than, again, occasionally we have one on this and occasionally it's one on that, and it's just this random smattering of things. So I'd like to see the case study be more organized, where we've got a topic of the year that we want to try to write as many case studies as possible. And I'm sure that Matthew McCoy's journals that he puts together, the McCoy Press journals, would be great resources for how to create an organization there where we can get out to the profession that these are the kind of case studies we're looking for. And
and Dr. Matt, he does a great job with that. Christy Kwan, Dr. Kwan, she's awesome. And you know this, but a lot of our viewers may not. We've already given $20,000 to the Foundation for Vertebral Subluxation Research, and for like immunity research and non-musculoskeletal complaint research. And we're going to do some more with our Chiro Cup. We're raising money with our golf tournament. We're going to donate some money there, and it's not nobody with the GCC gets paid. We're just trying. There's Chiro Cup, Friday, September 13th, 2024, Marietta City Cup. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to play my one round of golf per year. 10 a.m. start. It's always one of the most fun days of the year. But nobody with GCC gets paid. We're putting our time and effort and energy and money to advance this profession. And if you want to join in the fight with us, just GeorgiaChiropractic.org. And man, we need We need some help. We need some foot soldiers. Um, we would love to have you beside us, fighting every day.
Yeah, the Chiro Cup really is a great time. It's an absolute blast, and if you can come and play, please do. It's such a good time. It's one of the best put together golf tournaments that I've been able to attend, with more stuff, the Bloody Mary bars and all kinds of things like that really just make it an amazing event for everybody that comes. But if golf is not your thing, and you just don't really have a strong desire to play golf, or just can't make it, then I encourage you to be a sponsor. You don't necessarily have to have a huge budget for that. Some of the sponsorship opportunities are fairly small. Just a little T sign has got a pretty easy entry point, but there's lots of other sponsorships. And, you don't necessarily have to sponsor something that everybody's going to want to come and buy. Meaning, like, if I just wanted to put out a T sign for Ranicki Chiropractic, I don't know that I'd expect that I'm going to get lots of new patients for that, especially since the Chiro Cup's in the Atlanta area and I'm in Savannah. But it's a way that I can contribute financially to obviously a very, very good cause, and start to provide more funding for the kind of research that helps us to grow in the profession. That's what's going to put money back into my pocket. Not necessarily that I got some new patients directly from that T sign, but that when we got the kind of research that makes it easy to tell patients the kinds of things that chiropractic really could do for them, then the percentage of the population going to chiropractors goes up, and obviously all of our income goes up with that too. Right? So take a look to see what sponsorships opportunities you might feel like you could be able to handle there. I expect to see your name on 7 T signs this year.
Yeah, and if you donate, that's a tax write-off. You can just write it off on your taxes. It's and Lord knows we always need that. Like, we got a little coffee company. We always do sponsorship. Wake Up Humans, they always do sponsorship. It's important. We got to put our money where our mouth is. We say we want things better. Well, let's do it. I'm and I just play golf one time a year. Golf is not my thing, but it's so much fun. I'm usually a skee ball person. I love skee ball. I even have my own skee balls I carry to bowling lane. So it's they're like, what is that? I'm like, my skee balls, man. Got 10 of these bad boys in here.
Absolutely guess that, yeah.
Yep, second in the world championship, bro. Second in the world championships.
Yeah. So another thing I would actually ask all of our viewers to do is not only consider being a sponsor, but take a look at the other businesses that are sponsors, and then not like see if you can give them your business, but also let them know. Say, hey, I saw that you're a sponsor of the GCC's Chiro Cup, and I wanted to let you know that I'm doing business here right now because I appreciate you sponsoring things that help the chiropractic profession, help chiropractic patients, and that will obviously encourage those sponsors to continue being sponsors in the future.
Yeah,
make sure that they're being appreciated for being sponsors.
Yeah, that's it's important. We love our sponsors. We love our current members. I talked to a longtime GCC member this morning. I appreciate you guys. Y'all said you're going to watch. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for all you've done for GCC over the years. But we got a lot going on. We got, I think, the 22nd, 23rd of this month, Saturday, Sunday. We got another CE weekend coming up. That's going to be in Atlanta, right there at the Atlanta Marriott, right at 285 and 400. We're going to have Paul Blumsack, Dr. Wade Butt, Dr. Eddie Martinez, Dr. Greg Rubenstein, Lee Frazier, Dr. Matt McCoy. That's their boy there. Dr. Rebecca Young, and Dr. Jack Burla, president of Sherman College. So it's going to be a great weekend. I think I'm doing Georgia Law too. I got to take a quick trip to South Georgia, but I'll be back, I think, in time for that. So you get an hour of me. So don't let that keep you away. Don't let it keep you away. Come on, we're gonna have fun for an hour. Talk about Georgia law, OCGA 31.6.9.
I wasn't going to come to this one, but if I know you're going to be teaching law, I might have to.
You should. You might can learn something.
I might come learn something. In all seriousness, that's a pretty impressive lineup there. I've not had a chance to see Jack Burrow speak, but that would be great. And I've seen Paul Blumsack speak. He's awesome. And Rebecca Young, she's as well. There's a whole lot of really good speakers in this upcoming one.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear. Yeah, Dr. Eddie Martinez, he's going to do knee, chest, upper cervical. Greg Rubenstein, he's going to be doing philosophy. Love Dr. Rubenstein. I went up there to New York back Thanksgiving to do an event there. It was just such a welcoming crew, so welcoming. So it's going to be great. If you need CE hours, if you're a VIP member, you pay like what an adjustment is per month, like one adjustment per month, basically. And you can pop in, get a few hours, pop out. We do 6, 7, 8 continuing ed weekends a year. You can just pop in and out at all of them and get your hours here and there. And it makes it so easy, man. Makes it so easy. There's the dates. June 22nd, September 13th for Chiro Cup. August 10th is going to be in Augusta. November 8th and 9th is going to be in Savannah. Back August 24th and 5th is going to be like Warner Robins, South Georgia. And then back in Atlanta, December 13th and 15th is our annual GCC convention. That's awesome. A lot of times we'll have a casino night at the end. That's my second favorite night of the year. I swear. I love playing some craps, And it's all for a good cause. All for a good cause. So many laughs and so much camaraderie. It's I know up here in North Georgia with me, it kind of feels like we're alone sometimes. There's not too many chiropractors around, but you're not alone. If you ever need anything, you call us. It don't matter. Text us. We never sleep. You call us, text us anytime you want, and we're always here to listen to. Always. Well, man, it's good to see you. We're about to have to get back to work and start cranking.
It is that time, yes.
I hear the drop table in there banging away, so I'm like, oh man, I'm missing out. I got to go. I'm like a hungry dog after a steak, man.
All right, Drew. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Not a word, brother, and I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.